I feel it before I see anything. The tightness in my throat, the weight sinking into my chest. My breath catches against the back of my tongue. The house is dark, everything swallowed by the hour, except for the faint light in the upstairs window. It glows behind the bedroom curtains, a single square of dull yellow in a sea of black. It should be comforting, my home, our space, but I feel a cold pinch under my ribs. That glow presses on my nerves because, at this moment, it feels like it doesn't belong to me. I stand outside, hand still on my key ring, inhaling the desert-cold air that tastes like dust and regret, and I can't make myself go inside right away. My legs feel heavier than they should. It's the weight of knowing that something I can't name yet is growing like a shadow at the edge of my life. Eventually, I do step in. The lock clicks. The door creaks in the silence. The living room is quiet, but too tidy. Nothing sits out of place. No cups on the coffee table. No blankets on the couch. That's unusual. We normally leave little signs of life everywhere. The hush is unnatural. I walk through the hall and up the stairs toward the bedroom. The closer I get, the more I taste the dryness in my mouth. Every step amplifies that twisting ache. I open the bedroom door to darkness. The lamp is off. Only the bathroom's overhead fixture throws a blade of light across the carpet. My wife is asleep, or pretends to be. I can't see her face, just the curve of her shoulder. The covers are pulled to her chin. I edge closer, careful not to make noise. Then, with a slow exhale, I bring myself down to the bed. My knee sinks into the mattress. The sheets smell different. A spicy, sticky hint of something I don't recognize. It's almost sweet but cloying, like cologne or perfume. Only it's neither mine nor hers. I set my hand on the pillow, and it's in the fabric. That smell is heavy, pressing at my nostrils with an intimate kind of force. She stirs as though aware I'm there, but doesn't say anything. I stare at the back of her head, noting how tense her shoulders look. Eventually, she murmurs something about a new perfume her friend recommended. The words come out in a low monotone, as though recited from memory. She doesn't turn around. There's a distance in the darkness that I can't cross. I give a small grunt, a half-laugh maybe. Right, I say. That's all I manage. My throat feels raw. I lie down on my side of the bed, and in that hush I realize I don't even want to be near her. But I stay, because I'm not sure what else to do. My heart is pounding in my ears. I keep imagining another presence in the room, like a phantom. The smell on the pillow clings to my skin. When I finally drift off, my dreams are broken images. A door opening onto empty rooms, a man's silhouette by the window, my wife's shape behind him. I wake up before dawn, mind racing, and slip out of the bed. My body feels stiff, as though I carried a boulder on my back all night. Downstairs, I sit on the couch without turning on the lights and stare at nothing, swallowed by my own silence. In the days that follow, I notice every small sign. The new lingerie she throws into the cart at the department store without so much as a sideways glance at me. The phone she carries into the shower with that forced casualness. The sudden drop-offs in conversation when I come home. I pretend I'm busy. I pretend I'm not seeing these things, but I am. My mind can't stop working. One afternoon, I find myself wandering around the house, uncertain of what I'm looking for. Drawers are half open, a hair tie on the table, a receipt for a fancy coffee place downtown. There's a sense of emptiness in every room, even though the furniture is there. The pictures are on the walls. It feels like the memory of a home. I press my hand to the living room window, feeling the chill of the glass, and watch her get into her car, phone at her ear. She's smiling. She looks excited, alive in a way I haven't seen in months. Not for me, apparently. That's the moment I realize that this entire structure of our marriage is an elaborate stage set. I sense the rotting foundation underneath. The shock hits me like a vacuum in the gut, as though everything is hollow. The worst part is the knowledge that I'm the only one who never saw it coming. But I don't confront her. Not right away. I bide my time, Let the pieces fall into place. Quietly, methodically, I start collecting every shred of evidence. The text messages I manage to glimpse over her shoulder. I miss you, can't wait for next time. The phone calls that come late at night, hushed behind the bathroom door. The quick drives out to the store that take far too long. She thinks I'm asleep, but I'm not. I hear every click, every beep. Sometimes I stand in the hallway and just listen to the sound of rushing water while she's in the shower with that phone. It feels surreal, like I'm living next to a stranger who used to share everything with me. I can't help but recall the day we brought our son home. I held that little baby with trembling arms, thinking this was my future. I was ready to give my life for him. Now, a quiet dread slithers into my mind. I can't help noticing the shape of his face sometimes, the slight difference in his features that I brushed aside for years. Am I going crazy, or was I simply blind? I decide I need clarity. I can't talk to her. She'll lie. So I go behind her back. A DNA test. I swab my son's cheek with trembling fingers while he's napping. I pack the sample as instructed, my hands shaking the entire time. Then I wait. 2 weeks of existing in suspended animation, like a man with a time bomb in his pocket. She doesn't notice anything. She's too busy with her own secrets. The result arrives in a plain envelope. I open it in my car, away from home. My mouth dries up as I scan the lines. 2% probability of paternity. That's less than my neighbor would have if he casually offered a sample. It's a punch to the gut. I'm gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles whiten. I read it again, as if the letters might rearrange themselves into something else. They don't. The truth is searing. He isn't mine, but I won't leave. I refuse. Something inside me locks into place, cold and impenetrable. My mind is screaming, but outwardly I go numb. That night, I watch her. She floats around the living room, humming, barefoot, as though the world is perfect. In my head, I imagine a noose slowly lowering around her neck. She doesn't see it. She doesn't suspect. Because I am always the man who says, "Yes, dear," and nods. Because I learned how to lie to myself long ago. I start shutting her out of my financial life. Quietly removing her name from accounts, signing over the house to my brother. Liquidating parts of my business in carefully orchestrated deals. Every signature feels like a stroke of vengeance. It's never been so easy to hide money. I realize how naive I was to share so openly. At night, I still slip into our shared bed, feeling the mattress dip under my body. She sometimes tries to cuddle against me, absent-mindedly. I freeze. My nerves coil tight. But I lay there, silent, letting her think everything's normal. Then I see them together, her and him. For the first time. I can't see his face clearly from my vantage point. But I see enough. Tall, younger, wearing that casual arrogance on his sleeve. They're in his car, parked behind a shopping plaza. I follow, parking a discreet distance away. Chest pounding so loud I can hardly think. She's in his lap, her arms around his neck. My breath catches. I've never seen her like that. That hunger, that primal glint in her eyes. The windows fog up. Their silhouettes move, pressed into each other. The erotic tension is unmistakable. Her hair falls around his face. Her hands roam over his shoulders. Even from a distance, the heat radiates off the glass, a swirl of frantic movement. My stomach lurches. My eyes burn. My mind fights between wanting to tear the door open and wanting to vanish into the ground. It's a strange mixture of numb horror and a sick fascination that nails me to my seat. Every nerve in my body screams that I should do something. But I just watch, like a spectator in some twisted show. Eventually, I snap out of it. I drive home on autopilot, my knuckles white on the steering wheel, my jaw so tight I can't speak even to myself. The images are burned into my mind. Her nails sliding up his arms, the tilt of her head, the parted lips. She's moaned for me like that once, or so I believed. Now I realize I've lost that part of her. Or maybe I never had it. I get home, and the emptiness in the living room hits me harder. The entire place feels like a funeral parlor. I see pictures of us at the beach, her wearing sunglasses, me with my arm around her waist. All illusions, all worthless. A dark, mocking laughter echoes in my mind, but I can't produce any sound. I rest my forehead against the wall and close my eyes, trying to breathe, trying to find something real in all this. Instead, I sink into an emotional void. I can't even cry. I just exist. She arrives hours later, claiming she was at the store. Her hair slightly disheveled, her blouse button one off from normal. She tries to greet me with a quick kiss on the cheek. Her lips graze my skin like a brand of betrayal. My stomach clenches, but I don't recoil. I let her do it. I grunt something non-committal. Put on that polite mask again. She busies herself with trivial tasks, checking her phone, rummaging in the kitchen. Everything so ordinary, so routine. My mind reels. Late that night, as we lie in bed, I stare at the ceiling fan slicing the darkness. She's asleep next to me. I can hear her soft breathing. The smell of some flowery soap clings to her hair. My rage swells and recedes in slow waves. I imagine confronting her, screaming at her, telling her how she destroyed us. But in the end, I only whisper to the darkness, "I forgive you," just to see how it feels on my tongue. The words taste like poison. A twisted part of me smiles, because I know I don't mean them. Not truly. But maybe I'll say them for real one day, just to see the confusion in her eyes. In the weeks that follow, I refine my plan. Sell the business, buy another property under my brother's name, shuffle accounts, lock everything behind layers of anonymity. It's surprisingly easy once you know what you're doing. The money that used to be ours flows in new directions, mine alone. She hardly notices. She's too preoccupied. Perhaps she thinks I'm just busy at work or traveling for deals. She doesn't ask many questions, which I find ironically convenient. I schedule a meeting with my lawyer to finalize changes in beneficiaries. I maintain a calm, professional demeanor. The lawyer is a bit curious. Why the sudden shift? I shrug. Estate planning. I say. He nods, scribbles notes. My insides churn the entire time, but outwardly, I'm a statue. One evening, she invites me to a small gathering at a local restaurant. Her girlfriends are there, along with a few of my acquaintances from business circles. It feels forced, a polite charade. The conversation is shallow. She leans on me with her hand lightly around my waist, playing the devoted wife. But I see her glance at her phone, those little surreptitious checks. My blood simmers. I press on, exchanging pleasantries, feigning laughter at jokes I barely hear. The overhead music irritates me, a generic pop tune. I grit my teeth, counting minutes until I can leave. She sits next to me, absently swirling her straw in a cocktail. Her friend across the table makes some remark about traveling, about how couples should see the world together. My wife nods, a bright plastic smile on her face. We've been talking about that, right, honey? She glances at me, eyes wide, false brightness. Maybe a trip to Europe. My lips form a tight grin. Sure, I lie. The idea of traveling with her nauseates me now. I can't imagine being anywhere with her except this dim, forced present. I picture her in a foreign hotel room, texting him. The image taints the notion of travel altogether. When we leave, I give her a ride home in my car. She's a bit tipsy and more talkative than usual, raving about how we need to rekindle something in our marriage. I keep my eyes on the road. The glow of streetlights casts passing shadows on her face. Every word out of her mouth feels like a needle sliding under my skin. She leans over to me as I drive, putting a hand on my shoulder. "I do love you," she murmurs. That bitter chill courses through me again. The same words she probably says to him. I just nod, not trusting myself to speak. The entire drive, I feel her gaze, but I keep my eyes forward. The motion of the road lulls me into a place of quiet tension. When we pull into the driveway, She touches my cheek. Let's just go inside. Let's try to, I don't know, talk or something, she says, voice uncertain. For a moment, I wonder if maybe she's having second thoughts about her affair. Maybe she wants to pretend none of this is happening. Or maybe she just wants reassurance that I'm still blind. I tilt my head, muster a faint smile, and follow her inside. She tries to start some conversation about how we used to be. The good times, the early days of our relationship. I remember them too, and they were good. But that was a different lifetime. I tune out her words, focusing instead on the angle of her jaw in the lamplight, the way her lips curve. She's still so beautiful. It stabs at me that this beauty is a weapon, something that's been used against me in the worst way. Suddenly, she moves closer, standing before me in the living room. Her hands slip up my chest, like old times. I feel the warmth of her palms through my shirt. There's a slight tremor in her fingers, as if she's not entirely sure of herself. She leans in. I see in her eyes a flicker of hesitation. But the memory of seeing her in that parked car with him flares in my mind, and my stomach clenches. I want to recoil, but I force myself to be still. She presses a small kiss on my mouth. It's gentle, almost searching. I kiss her back, surprising myself with the intensity. Maybe I'm testing her. Maybe a part of me is so starved for the woman I once knew that I'm trying to find her in this stranger's body. Our lips move, and for a fleeting second, it's like the old days. My heart thuds with longing, like I want to believe. But then I catch that faint trace of a different scent in her hair, or maybe it's my imagination fueling the resentment. I pull away. She looks confused, eyes shining in the lamplight. I clear my throat. I'm tired, I say quietly. My voice sounds hollow, even to me. Without waiting for her response, I walk to the stairs and leave her there, standing in the half-dark living room. There's a pang of guilt in my chest. Why do I feel guilty? I'm not the one who replaced us. We exist like that for weeks. She pretends. I pretend. We're mechanical figures in the same routine. I go off to meetings and come home. She says she's meeting friends or working on a design project. But I notice how often she changes clothes before leaving the house, sometimes into a blouse that's far too revealing for an ordinary day. Her phone is always near. We barely touch at night. She tries, but I keep some invisible wall between us. Inside, I'm calculating every move to protect myself. I can't let her see the real me. Not anymore. Then comes the day when everything lines up for me to finalize the last parts of my plan. The business sale goes through. The documents are signed. My name stands alone on new paperwork for a property titled under my brother's name. I'm free in ways she can't comprehend. My lawyer calls to confirm. All set. You want me to file it right away. And I say yes, feeling a surge of triumph laced with bitterness. That night, I return home. She's in the kitchen, preparing dinner. The smell of roasted chicken and herbs floats through the air. It's strangely domestic, comforting, except I know it's all surface. The tension between us is a silent occupant, larger than either of us. I walk up behind her, slip my arms around her waist. She stiffens in surprise, then relaxes. "How was your day?" she asks, stirring the pot. Her tone is casual, but there's a slight tremor. Maybe she senses something different in me. "Busy," I say. My voice is quiet. "Things are wrapped up at last. I sold the business." She stops stirring. "Sold it?" Her head turns, eyes wide. "When did you decide that?" I brush a strand of hair from her face. "Recently. Felt like it was time." She nods, biting her lip. I see a flicker of concern in her expression. Maybe she's wondering if that changes her access to money. But she forces a smile. "Well, that's big news." Dinner is tense. She tries to chat about mundane things. I pick at my food, mind elsewhere. My phone vibrates with a text from my brother. "Funds transferred. Everything is under control." I glance at it briefly, slip it back into my pocket. She raises an eyebrow. I just smile. It's nothing. After dinner, we settle into the living room. She's on the couch, sipping a glass of wine. The overhead light is off, leaving only the floor lamp near the window. The shadows in the room are elongated, making it feel bigger and emptier than it is. My reflection in the glass cabinet looks like a stranger. She pats the cushion next to her, invites me to join. I do, albeit stiffly. Are we okay? She ventures, setting the wine on the coffee table. There's an official, almost businesslike quality to her tone. I look at her, noticing the faint lines at the corners of her eyes, signs of age, stress, life. I remember when we met, how radiant she was, how I worshipped the ground she walked on. Now, everything is different. I don't know, I say, exhaling. I really don't know. She looks away, chewing the inside of her cheek. Then, with a determined breath, she says, "Max, I want to tell you." She hesitates. Sometimes I feel like we're drifting. And I need to feel close to you again. My chest tightens. I realize she's not going to confess anything. She's searching for some emotional bandage to cover the gaping wound. Yeah, I say, trying not to let bitterness show. I know. She shifts closer, slides her hand over mine. We can try. Maybe go on a trip, or have a date night. She's fumbling for solutions. I'm sorry if I've been distant. I feel my jaw clench. This conversation is so empty. She doesn't want the truth. She wants comfort. She wants me to stay blind and nod along. We'll see, I mutter, pulling my hand away gently. It's late. I'm heading up. I go upstairs without a backward glance. My heart is pounding in a confused mix of rage, sorrow, and a hollow sense of inevitability. I know she's going to keep me up all night if we talk. But I'm not ready to face that. In the morning, I plan to finalize everything, to put the finishing touches on the trap I've set. I wake early, slip out of bed while she's still asleep. The house is hushed, the sunrise casting pale light through the windows. I sit at the kitchen table, the wood cold under my elbows, and sip coffee. My mind drifts, half lost in memory, half lost in the searing present. She comes downstairs eventually, wearing a light robe, hair messy. She pours herself a cup of coffee, glances at me with tentative eyes. Neither of us speaks. I watch her quietly. She's about to say something when my phone rings. I step away to answer. It's my lawyer confirming final signatures. When I come back, she's at the table, frowning slightly. Who was that? Business, I say. My voice is calm. She looks like she wants to press further, but doesn't. Something about my tone warns her off. That day, I see messages pop up on her phone. She left it on the counter. She's in the bathroom, the shower running. The display lights up. "Hey baby, can we meet later?" From a contact named L. My stomach twists again, but I feel more numb than anything else. The final piece of confirmation. She leaves the house around noon, vaguely mentioning errands. She's wearing that same blouse I saw her in the day I followed her. I watch from the window as she drives away, a determined tilt to her chin. I imagine her heading straight into his arms, that warm, laughing, younger man. My nerves hum with tension, but I let it wash over me. This is the final day. When she gets back, it's nearly dinner time. She's flushed, hair a bit damp, possibly from a quick rinse somewhere. I don't ask. I don't need to. She changes into casual clothes. We share a brief, awkward greeting in the kitchen. The air crackles with unspoken secrets. Then, after we eat, barely tasting our food, I stand in the living room, waiting for the moment. She sets her dishes in the sink and approaches me. "You've been so quiet," she remarks, forcing a small laugh. "More than usual. Is everything all right?" I gaze at her for a long beat. Her eyes flicker with unease. Finally, I say, "I sold the business. I've changed accounts. I moved the house out of our name." She blinks. "What?" Her voice catches on that single syllable. "What do you mean?" I feel a tremor in my limbs. This is it. Every ounce of pain pulses through me. I mean, nothing here is yours anymore, I reply softly. Her face pales. Why would you? She starts to speak, but I lift a hand. Don't, I say. My tone is quiet, official, like talking to a stranger. I can't muster fury in my voice because I've gone past that. I know about him. I've known for a while. I saw you. You never try to hide it. She stands there, lips parted, searching for words. A tear slides down her cheek before she even forms a sentence. I can explain, she starts. Explain? I echo. You smell like him. You buy lingerie for him. You lie to my face and tell me you're out shopping. I watched you in his car. My voice cracks. I force it back under control. Explain that. She reaches for me, but I take a step back. Her hand drops. I see her trembling. It just happened, she whispers. I got confused. I never meant to hurt you. I almost laugh, but it comes out as a shaky sigh. Too late for that. I say. I feel the old pain surge, that sense of being replaced, worthless. My heart pounds. You want to know the funniest part? Our son. 2% paternity. She gasps as if I struck her. Her hands fly to her mouth. Oh God, she mumbles, voice trembling. I didn't know. My eyes burn, but tears won't fall. He's not mine, I rasp. You gave me a future that never belonged to me. She's crying now, though it seems more like panic than genuine remorse. I'm sorry, she breathes. I was scared. I didn't know how to tell you. It was an accident. It was a mistake. I never meant. I wave her off. I don't want to hear it, I say, trembling. My breath comes in ragged bursts. You never meant to get caught, that's all. She's sobbing quietly, hands covering her face. I stand there, feeling a hollow ache in my chest. This is the moment I pictured so many times, yet it doesn't bring satisfaction. There's only the dull, heavy sense of betrayal. I walk to the couch, sink into it. She follows, tries to kneel beside me, tries to grab my hand. I stare at the lamp across the room. Every object in here feels surreal, like a stage prop. I can hear her sniffles. For a moment, I'm not sure if I hate her, or still love her, or just feel empty. Finally, I speak. I forgive you. My voice is quiet, almost conversational. She blinks, tears glistening. What? I turn and meet her eyes. She looks desperate for some thread of hope. I wonder if she thinks everything's going to be fine. I forgive you. I repeat, I'm not throwing you out. I'm not calling the cops. This is still your home. Stay if you like. She grips my hand. Thank you, she breathes, relief flooding her voice. Thank you. I promise I'll fix this. I'll end it. I swear. Just don't leave me. My smile is small, cold. I'm not leaving, I say. And it's the truth. I stand, pulling my hand away gently. Go wash your face. I add, voice numb. We can talk more tomorrow. She nods frantically, tears dripping from her chin, stumbling to the bathroom. I watch her go. The door closes, and I'm left in the living room. My reflection in the mirror is a man with sunken eyes, a stranger. I exhale, a shaky breath. The house feels dead around me. I walk upstairs, climb into bed, and stare at the dark ceiling until the shapes blur. In the following days, she tries to be the perfect wife. She fusses over me, cooks elaborate meals, attempts to draw me into conversation. She even tries to bring up counseling. We can get through this together, she pleads. I'll do anything. I watch her quietly, letting her chatter. I notice how she looks at her phone less often, perhaps texting him that it's over, perhaps not. I no longer care. Meanwhile, everything is in place for me. She has no idea that she's no longer on any financial documents. She has no clue that if I walk out tomorrow, she's left with nothing but the clothes in her closet. I keep the veneer of politeness, the daily routines. I don't mention leaving or divorcing. I just keep existing with her under one roof, day after day. And I see her slowly begin to relax. She thinks she's dodged the bullet. She hums in the mornings again, bare feet on the hardwood floors. She's trying to revive a sense of normalcy. Sometimes she glances at me with a hopeful little smile. In those moments, I feel an almost physical wave of revulsion. But I smile back, a faint curve of my lips that reveals nothing. I notice she stops wearing that new lingerie. Maybe she's thrown it away. She asks if I want to plan a weekend getaway. I say, let's wait. And she gives a quick nod. She's so eager to placate me now. She's convinced that time will heal our wounds, that I'll just bury the truth and pretend everything's fine. She doesn't understand that time isn't healing me. It's erasing me. Day by day, I feel less and less like the man I was. The bitterness rots away any softness I had. I catch glimpses of myself in the bathroom mirror and see someone colder, older, exhausted. I talk to no one about it. My brother suspects something, but I keep him at arm's length. My parents live far away. We barely talk except polite holiday calls. In short, I'm alone with this. Maybe that's how I want it. Eventually, she stops sleeping restlessly. She cuddles up to me at night, and I let her. There's a part of me that's fascinated by this new dynamic, how she's living in a trap without seeing the bars. I wonder sometimes if that makes me worse than her. Because I know what's happening, and I'm letting it continue. One afternoon, I'm standing in the yard. The sun is high and hot. Our lawn is trimmed, the bushes meticulously shaped. She's inside, probably tidying up or looking at design ideas. I stare at the quiet street, other houses, other families. I wonder how many secrets are hidden behind their cheerful doors. I find myself imagining how quickly everything can implode. The foundation of trust is so fragile. Suddenly, she calls my name from the door, asking if I want something to drink. I glance back at her. She's wearing a casual sundress, hair in a loose ponytail, a slight smile on her lips. For a second, she looks almost innocent. Then I remember her moaning in another man's car, remember the DNA test. My stomach churns. I force a smile. No, thanks, I say quietly. That evening, we have another conversation. She tries to apologize again. She says she was lonely, that I was distant, that she felt we lost the spark. I nod at the appropriate places, not bothering to argue. She tries to hold my hand. I stiffen. She notices but doesn't comment. She stares at me with an ache in her eyes, an ache she caused. I say softly, "You're forgiven." She exhales, tears shining. I'm sorry, she repeats. The next morning, she's humming in the kitchen. I come downstairs, stand behind her. She glances back, and I see relief in her expression. She thinks we're finding our way. She truly believes we can rebuild, or at least that I'm letting her off the hook. Maybe she's counting on my old, predictable kindness. I lean against the counter. She touches my arm tentatively. "Thank you," she murmurs, "for giving me another chance." I tilt my head, look into her eyes. "You're my wife," I say in a low voice. I said I forgive you, and I do. Her lips quiver. She clutches my hand. I'll make it up to you. I promise. I say nothing in return. I glance around the kitchen, at the wooden table we picked out together years ago, at the curtains she chose, the toaster we've had since our first year of marriage. So many details that once meant something. Now they feel like stage props for a performance that ended ages ago. We move through the day. She's almost cheerful. She invites me to watch a movie with her. I sit with her on the couch, letting her rest her head against my shoulder. The entire time, I stare at the screen, not absorbing a thing. She's the one who snuggles close, tries to take my hand. I let her, because it doesn't matter now. Later, I slip away to my upstairs office. I close the door quietly and stand by the window, looking down at the yard. The sun is low in the sky, painting the grass in golden light. In that moment, I wonder if I'm truly the villain here. She cheated, yes, but I'm the one orchestrating a life sentence in a prison she doesn't see. I recall the day I saw the test results, the day everything inside me froze over. Could I have made different choices? Possibly. But I realize I don't want to. I want her to stay, to live with the guilt and the lie, to never escape this tension she's created. That is my brand of revenge. I can't say I'm proud of it. It doesn't make me happy. But happiness is off the table now. Night falls. She goes upstairs to shower. I remain in the living room, flipping through channels aimlessly. She emerges from the bathroom in a robe, hair damp, then joins me. Her eyes are soft, uncertain. I feel her gaze on me. She sets a gentle hand on my arm. "Want to go to bed?" she asks quietly. I turn the TV off. I stand, follow her up the stairs. In the bedroom, she turns to me. I can sense the question in her eyes. Should we try to be intimate? She's looking for signs. She moves close, touching my chest. I feel that tension coil in my gut. My body remembers the betrayal, but a flicker of old memory surfaces. The days when we were younger. The nights we spent in each other's arms. There's a moment of conflict inside me. She kisses me, softly at first, then with more insistence, as if she's trying to reassure herself. My mind immediately conjures images of her with him, and I stiffen. She notices, pulls back with a quavering sigh. It's okay, she mumbles, eyes averted. Maybe you're not ready. I swallow hard. Yeah, I whisper, stepping back. Sorry. She nods, tears threatening again, but she blinks them away. She climbs into bed, pulling the covers up to her chin. I remain standing there, watching her in the dim light. Finally, I turn off the lamp and lie down on my side, as far from her as possible. The silence is thick, pressing. I can hear my own heartbeat. Eventually, she drifts off. I can tell by her breathing. I stare into the dark, feeling that heavy hollowness in my chest. Time will not heal me. It's just erasing who I was, day by day. Morning comes again, and the next day, and the next. We slip into a new pattern, an almost comfortable facade of a functional couple. She tries to be attentive, cooking breakfast, tidying the house. She attempts small gestures of affection, which I tolerate. But I keep her at a distance. She's begun to accept that I'm not going to be the man I was. One afternoon, I stand by the living room window, watching her pass by. She's humming a song. She catches my eye and smiles. I give a slight nod in return. And I think, she really believes we've turned a corner. That's the new irony of our life, that she's stepping deeper into the trap I've laid. I remember the smell on the pillow, that sweet, spicy aroma that signaled how thoroughly I'd been replaced. Now she's replaced him in her day-to-day, or so it seems. Maybe she's cut ties with him, or maybe she just hides it better. I can't find it in myself to care. My revenge is not about physically punishing her. It's about letting her remain locked in a marriage that's effectively a cage. She can try to run, but there's nowhere to go. She's reliant on me financially, socially. She'd lose it all if she walked out. Yet sometimes, a flicker of pity stirs inside me. Am I better than the man who destroyed me? She told me she was confused, lonely. Maybe that was the truth. But the pity never lasts. The memory of her breathless moans in that parked car rips it away. Months pass in this twilight state. She grows more confident that we're stable. She even starts talking about planning a future trip again, or renovating the kitchen. I let her talk. She researches color schemes and new appliances, shows me pictures. I give neutral responses. She pretends that means yes. On a random Tuesday night, she invites me to watch a movie again. We sit in the living room with the lights low. About halfway through, she says softly, "Thank you for staying." I glance at her. She's gazing at me with a look I can't decipher. "It means everything to me," she continues. I know we have so much to fix, but I'm grateful you gave me another chance. My chest feels tight. I don't respond. I can't form words. She reaches for my hand. This time, I let her take it. She squeezes it gently, tears glimmering in her eyes. "We'll be okay," she says, almost like a question. "Sure," I whisper. My voice is unsteady. I hear the fan whir overhead, and I feel the thick tension in the air. We're like two ghosts enacting a script. She must sense my distance, but she clings to hope anyway. By the time the credits roll, she's leaning on me. I remain stiff. Eventually, she sits up, wiping her cheeks. I see how fragile she looks. In a bizarre moment of sympathy, I almost want to comfort her. Then, the image of that DNA test slams back into my mind, reminding me our entire marriage is built on a lie. She switches off the TV. We sit in the darkness, the only light coming from the street lamp through the window. I hear the faint hum of passing cars. Finally, she stands, extends a hand to me. I rise slowly. She places a soft kiss on my cheek. "Good night," she says, voice trembling. She heads up the stairs. I remain behind for a while, just staring at the place where she stood. The ghost of her warmth lingers. Later, I walk up to the bedroom. She's already asleep, or pretends to be. I slip under the covers carefully, not wanting to disturb her. My mind replays the day's events, the weight of the months gone by. My revenge is complete. She has no financial power, no illusions of total forgiveness, no real freedom. Yet as I lie there, I don't feel triumphant. I feel emptier than ever. In the faint glow from the streetlight outside, I wash her face. She looks peaceful, unaware, and I'm filled with a cold curiosity. Who betrayed whom more profoundly? Her body, her lies, or my deliberate emotional atonement? We're both guilty now. Before I drift off, my last thought is that time won't fix this. It's just erasing each day, taking me further from who I was and burying me deeper in this quiet vengeance. In the end, maybe there's no winner at all, only the slow fade of everything that once mattered. But tomorrow, when I see her barefoot in our home, beaming at me like we're safe and whole, I'll watch in silence. I'll let her believe it's over, that we're on the mend. And inside, I'll remind myself that trust was always a weapon, one she used first, and one I now wield without mercy. We'll carry on like that, step by painful step, until eventually nothing remains of us but the hollow shapes we cast on the walls. That is our final truth. Time doesn't heal, it only erodes. And I keep thinking, as I stare at her sleeping form, maybe that's the real betrayal, this slow disintegration we both chose, each in our own way.